listen to it. All right, Commissioner Aiken, would you please lead us into the prayer?
Yes, sir. Father, we ask that you watch over us as we conduct this meeting. Father, we ask that we do the will of the people. Father, most importantly, we ask that we do the will of your Son. We ask that we be the light and that we show others. Please be with us in your Son's name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Move to agenda item number 3, public comment. We have one person signed up, Sharon. Well, we have two. Merkel and Sharon Owens.
I'm right here. I didn't realize I was going to be number 1.
Can you come up to the podium?
I'm here to talk about a case that I had submitted. I'll call the police on Halloween Eve night. And I had my purse stolen from the house, which I knew the person that had taken my purse. I was told I needed to call and make a report on it. The insurance and everything paid for everything, but the person that stole my purse came from Neighborhood Watch, which he is still out there doing stuff. I've called 4 times. I have had no response. Y'all have been too busy to get to the case. That's been a month and a half. I have had nothing. I am here now to ask everybody to look at themselves and see that our county and everything is not doing the way it should be. And if we continue this, it will be bad. We're going to get worse. I would like to have people form a committee with a lot of volunteers that could help alleviate all y'all's problems of too much work, too much time. I have been through every one of y'all's systems in the last 2 years, and there's not one system that is working right. And the only way we can change it is if we go ahead and make some changes. And I'm willing to help do that if anybody would go ahead and help provide or get the word out that we need help, and that the citizens should help do that too. Now, that's basically what I'm asking, is that we get help to straighten out our system and for it to be better. I'm not going to complain about who did this. I know who did it. I gave the police department pictures. I gave them the names. I was told my Discover card came in. They had started using my card. And why has nothing been done in a month and a half? Nothing. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Do you think that anybody could help do that?
Mr. Roger Markey.
Hi there, I'm here to address the Laverne Library issue. So,
Do you want to wait till that item comes up on the, it's on the agenda?
sure.
Why don't we do that?
Well, great.
Okay.
Wait for that.
Agenda item number 5 are certificates of completion of awards, bonds, and continuation. Agenda item number 2. Have these put into the record for the B.G. Young School for Tax Assessor Collectors, Don Barnett, CJIS Security Privacy General Road, Crystal Hidalgo, and bond continuation for Jennifer Beatrice Fleming, Deputy County Clerk. Agenda item number 5 are extension activity reports. Do we have anybody that wants to make a presentation?
Good morning. So in addition to our monthly reports, we have one of our very active 4-H members here to talk about our contest we had last week in Kerrville. So I'm going to let her kind of go through all the different things she got to do. To start off on Thursday, Ms. Allison gave me the opportunity to take pictures at the 4-H District 10 food show of all the participants and their dishes that they created. And then that afternoon, I competed in the entomology ID contest, which is a test of different questions related to the insects that we are studying throughout the year. And then once you're done with your test, you get a sheet of 300 meters with 27 ID questions related to the insects. So we had to identify the common names and the orders of these insects. And then the next day, early in the morning, I had educational presentation and public speaking. The difference between the two is that educational presentation is where you are allowed to have props such as cards and a slideshow, versus public speaking is where you're just standing in front of a classroom of people and giving a presentation about a persuasive topic. My topics were web math security for both of them. And then in the afternoon, me and my 2 other teammates, Kaylee Garza and Brinley Stevens, competed in the Equine Quiz Bowl for District 10. And I'm very proud of my girls as we all competed, and they all answered multiple questions related to horses, and we walked away with banners. And I'm very grateful for the Commissioner's Court for supporting Wilson County 4-H. It's been a wonderful opportunity. This is my 5th year in 4-H and my 2nd year as a Wilson County Equine and Photography Ambassador. And for right now, I'm just preparing for equine stillathons and beef stillathons and horse and livestock judging for the spring at San Antonio, Austin, Houston, and San Angelo. Thank you.
Job well done.
Did you give us your name?
Will Walker.
All right. Thank you very much.
And then the last thing we wanted to remind you about is our Christmas luncheon this midday. We're starting about 11:30 at our conference over there. Thank you.
Congratulations. Y'all got the whole thing they all do.
Ms. Demmer, do you have anything? Agenda item number 6, we have Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Moore, discuss take action to reappoint Rudy Cantu to the ESD number 2 board of commissioners and Commissioner out of the state won't be here.
Right. Yeah, so Commissioner Cantu has been on the ESD 2 board for quite some time. He's willing to continue his service, so therefore I'll make a motion to reappoint Rudy Cantu to the ESD 2 board of commissioners. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, second by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 6? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 7. We have Commissioner Precinct 4, Scott Aiken, discuss and take action upon the reappointment of Cindy Couch and Jeffrey Dugay to the Emergency Service District 3 Board of Commissioners for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner Padilla and I reached out to District 3, and the board has been served by Mrs. Couch and Mr. Doogie for multiple terms, and they would like to continue sitting there. And so it's my recommendation that we vote to continue to let them serve on the board for the district.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, second by Commissioner Cordova. Do you have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 7? Are they here?
They are not.
Okay, so we'll just get together a little later on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 8. Precinct 4, Scott Aiken, discuss take action upon reappointment of George Jones and Michael Trainer to the Emergency Service District 1 Board of Commissioners for a two-year term beginning January 1st, 2026.
And this will sound exactly the same. Mr. Jones and Mr. Trainer have served multiple times, and they choose to take and reappoint. The district is recommending that, and I would like to recommend that we allow them to take another 2-year term on the board.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, second by Commissioner Terdola. Do you have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 8? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 9. We have Commissioner Precinct 2, Russell King, discuss only on Health Department of Volusia County.
Yeah, so I brought this up because we had something that was with the health department, and the past couple of months we haven't had anything. We've had a third party now to an individual. But the reason I'm bringing it up for discussion only is because we need to see where the county needs to be. What do we want as a commissioner's court? Where do we want to put the county? Judge and I actually got to sit down with the individual that's doing our third party, and he's, if it's food, health, the state can do it. But the county will continue to do it. We even talked about dog bites with the sheriff's department and what we need to do with that. And we do have a no-kill shelter that we're involved with as well. So what do we want to do within the county whenever it comes to the dog department? Once again, we don't have to have it. No. At the same time, the food health, talking to the individual that's doing our third party, it's a good thing, because if we do have something, he can be involved, and it's local by the state. So, the reason I brought it up to a discussion, we all are on any of this.
Y'all think about it for the next couple of weeks, for the next meeting, we'll figure out what we want to do. If we don't need it, and the state takes care of it, why should we have it? Okay. Any other discussion?
No, I mean, I agree. We have a service we need to provide, and we ought to provide it. If we don't have to, if there's a better option, that less impact to the taxpayers. It's certainly a viable option provided that but it does work. It does take care of what needs to be taken care of. So I've looked at some other options, and I don't see anything better than the state personally right now. We haven't done all the research that we think we need to do.
The gentleman that's doing it now, is he will continue doing
He
this?
said he'll continue as long as we want him to do it, but he said it's not necessary.
And clarity on that, it's not necessary because it is a function that the state of Texas will provide.
That's correct.
State.
Any other discussion, Joe? If not, we'll move to agenda item number 10. Commissioner Precinct 2, Russell King, discuss and take action on interlocal agreement with the Nueces River Authority to provide updated flood mapping for the western Nueces watershed of Wilson County.
First, you can go up to the mic, we can discuss this. One thing before, Mr. talked about it, Evelyn and I, we went over this, and she's looked at everything. I think the only thing we've found so far was just a hiccup with the judge's name. Other than that, this is a grant that they'll be doing research on. For the Nueces River.
I do have a flyer.
Sure. Go ahead.
Travis Pucci with the Nueces River Authority, Chief Operations Officer. I'm also the Region 13 Regional Flood Planning Sponsor, which is the western half of Nueces County, Wilson County. If it shows you on the back, it kind of shows you a map of what is in the basement, which is mostly in Precinct 2, I believe. We are doing flood planning study for the holes in the Oasis Basin, which again, part of that Wilson County is. And one of the first things we noticed when we started this process is the outdated maps are basically no mapping of some of this area. And we applied for a grant with the Water Development Board for about a $30 million project in total for the whole Oasis Basin. We received 75% grant, and then it's required 25% local match for the counties that choose, if they choose to participate. So your cost is about $53,000. It's spread out over 10 years if you choose to. They give us a 10-year loan on that local match, so it'd be a little over $5,000 a year, or you could do one payment of $53,000 on that. So what I would do is that portion of the map that you see on the back, we would map down to 6 inches and redo the whole floodplain where the 5-year, 10-year, 100-year, and 500-year floodplain is. Also included in this project, we are creating a Oasis regional flood warning, early warning system, which that portion of the county would also be included in that early warning process. And then we're also looking at the, you have 5 low water crossings in that region, and there are 2 what we consider high hazard dams, and those are private dams, but they hold back large amounts of water. And of course, the rate of it, we want to do an inspection on those to make sure that they are safe. Because if they hold back a lot of water, you want to make sure they don't break and have a flood issue. We would do an inspection of those 2 high hazard dams. So that's kind of a general of the whole project we're looking at. I'm happy to answer questions.
So the ultimate goal is to remap for FEMA and you get this approved so the issues right now will change.
Correct. So we've already been awarded. We will start this project in this spring of 26. We will take about 18 months to do the project. And then you guys will be given those new maps, and y'all can approve them as the new maps, and then we will also then turn that into FEMA. FEMA takes about 8 years to go through the mapping approval process, but you don't have to wait for that. They'll meet all the qualifications for y'all to approve them as your new maps when we complete them in about 18 to 24 months.
We're out this to court before, because we talked about the grant and the money as well.
And then the Oasis River Authority is going to be the official grantor, so we'll be doing all the paperwork with the state. The interlocal is y'all just be paying that match to the River Authority. We're taking out the loan under our name and all that, so there's no additional paperwork or anything that the county is required to do. We handle all that. You're just paying your local match.
When would the local match be due?
It starts this in 26, so if y'all decide y'all going to make one payment or if you want to do the yearly 10-year payments, we will work out a payment. We have it right now scheduled for January 26th, but if we need to work on your budget or something, we can edit those dates.
And what she said was if we didn't put it in this current budget, I've got a question about, obviously, you're affecting 10% or less of Wilson County, and you go to this.
It's almost 15% of that kind of that western portion is in there.
Okay, I'm just looking at the
Yes,
map.
it's about 15% or so.
It covers part of precinct 1 and precinct 2.
And I know Commissioner Hankin has some issues. I have issues where the northern end of the Borrego crosses Highway 536, except 536. That's a very dangerous crossing at night. There's no lights out there. If it's similar to Kerrville incident where it rained in the night and that water comes up and somebody's driving down there and they're not paying attention, there's no crossings, there's no warnings other than road may flood. It can get pretty serious there. And all along, and that part of the Borrego, although it goes through relatively unpopulated areas, it's very dangerous.
Very highly populated traffic area.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic that's coming from Atascosa through there. I had to stop a FedEx truck one year from trying to. My dad told me to go down. I said, you can't go down there. I mean, my dad told me to, but you can't, you know. And it's hard to get back around because you got to go all the way either back to 280 or 37 or back to Pleasant and come around another way. It's difficult to get around. So I think this will lead to the same similar project we have going with the San Antonio River Authority, which is to identify these locations, high hazard locations particularly, and with eventually hoping to get automatic gates or something, a better warning and something to go in there that we can take a look on that program type thing.
Yes. Now, I do have a vested interest. I do live out that area. I've been on 536 and 541 when it floods, and you don't see it coming in the dark.
Ms. Huron, you read the interlocal agreement.
I have, and I looked at the plan, what the service, the county service would be receiving for the money, the proportional, benefit to the county compared to the other counties, and what we are paid appears to be reasonable. I did have some questions, and he did address them, so it's up to the board if you want to proceed with this. I do think it would, certainly benefit the county, and like, it's been a while since this has been done, right?
Actually, most of this area has never actually been mapped. Part of the creeks have been, they do, the most of your flood mapping is larger creeks here, so a lot of these other mapping is their assumptions on FEMA. We want to actually get down and map the entire area. And that's creek and non-creek areas. Everything will be mapped down to 6 inches.
Have you talked to our emergency management coordinator, Mrs. Shepherd?
We had Russell and I had a chance to meet. We started this conversation, I guess, about June or so. We started having conversations, let them know the benefits for EMS and everybody. And flood planning and lots of there's a lot of growth coming out in that McCoy area as well. We met with the water district from McCoy. They're expecting a lot of growth on that portion of 97 is coming. So this would be very beneficial to the county and the citizens out there.
Lucy, this is all a painter, when do they start? We don't have it.
So what I would propose is, because I've had several conversations with Travis, but just, I didn't know when the payment would be due. What I would propose though, since we're basically reimbursing, paying them because they're paying in full, and so I would recommend that we consider doing a partial payment with money that's in our contingency in our reserve that is currently budgeted. I'd have to look to see if that would be, $5,000 or $10,000 for this budget year, and then we can budget either the remaining balance for October 1 of 26, or if we feel like we need to break it up in additional payments. I think I can definitely work something out with Travis and figure that out. I do believe that we do have money in the budget. I wouldn't recommend that we pay the full $53,000 up front, because you're right, that's not budgeted and that's a big chunk of money, but we can certainly take a piece of it in January.
And that's acceptable. All the counties, we have 31 total counties as a whole array of payments that are we negotiate out, so that's fine.
So that payment should be about 5,000.
5,253,000.
I'll make a motion to accept this interlocal agreement with the Oasis River Authority to provide updated flood mapping for Western Oasis watershed in Wilson County.
And how we're going to pay?
And we make a payment for contingency.
Our non-departmental reserve line, safety amount.
Yeah,
and
it'd be
flood fund.
$5,000.
$302.20.
Correct. $5,302.
How much?
$5,300.
He's taking the 22 cents out. 302.
It's 53,022, so $5,302.
And you'll send us an invoice, or I'll just send you an email.
So in the interlocal agreement, we can work on, there's a payment schedule, we can reword that, and then we'll sign it, and we'll send you an invoice in 26 sometime.
Okay.
And we'll figure out how that additional payment is coming next year.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Key.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Key, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 10? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we moved to agenda item number 11, have, Ms. Store, the librarian, before then we have a public comment by Mr. Roger Barkley. Barkley, you now have the floor.
Sure, thank you. And I'm not sure what all the issues are that I'm going to maybe address, but I came down from Laverne, I just want to underscore the real importance of a public library. I'm finding myself 78 years old, raising a 5-year-old, and like a lot of 5-year-olds, he's a delight, he's full of energy, but does not like to read. And getting him to sit with himself all over learning to read or me even reading to him sometimes is an issue. However, when I take him to the Little Laverne Library, it's a place of peace for him, and he sits, maybe plays some Legos or colors, but then he chooses a couple books. And those books that he chooses from the library, we go home and read. And I think that we just have to, as people who care about the future, be sure that we're doing adequate funding and service for our libraries. When I was a child, I was with a very remote place. My dad's a forger here, and we had to rent a library out of our garage, our family garage. But we did that, and people came, and because of that, there are people who grew up knowing how to read, little kids. And I just hope that whatever the issues are here, I'm not sure if there are anything, that we just remember how important libraries are to all of us, especially our children.
Store.
Thank you. So I'm not real sure how much information you want about the library. I mean, I can go all the way back to when we first started it. But the current update is that the building has been sold. We have that. We have not been given the eviction notice. You have 30 days to get out. We have not received that yet. So we are going to have to find another location for the Laverne Public Library.
So just to clarify, you haven't received it, but you're anticipating.
I'm anticipating it. The realtor for the party that bought the building, I'm sorry, I do not know who bought the building. She has reached out and said that they would like for us to stay, but they want to raise our rent to almost double. And I don't even make enough money to buy a corner.
So what's the current rate?
$750 a month. When we started the library in 2016, we were paying $500 a month with about 500 square feet of the building. We shared the building with Laverne News. And shortly before the 2020 COVID, the Laverne News reorganized and moved everybody to Stockville, or everybody to Floresville. And they allowed us to take the whole building. It was only 1,200 square feet. And they asked us to go to 750. So we would make, that is in our current budget is to pay for the 750. So we have found a place. The family that owns Camden Adventure Home called me and said, I'm trying to get curiosity. She called on my birthday and said she wants to build a building. But in order for us to find a temporary location, so she has 2 rooms in Camden Adventure Zone that we would fit into temporarily while another location is being built for us. So I'm here today with the lease agreement to go to Camden. If any more questions I can answer.
Yeah, I've got a few. Ms. Sherron, you got the revised one you looked at?
I did, but is this a temporary? Because it's a 5-year lease, so that's not temporary. So,
The owner is calling it temporary, whether or not she hasn't decided if she wants to build on to Camden's Adventure Zone or build a whole new building for us. But I have a feeling from looking at it, this is just a standard form that they filled out.
but the location is temporary, or the lease would be within the building of whatever they build. I'm not real clear on that.
Yeah, because there's no early termination. It's a flat 5-year lease. There's no early termination. You pay or you can get out or notice or anything like that. But
I know she wants us to stay on the property. Pardon? I know she wants us to stay on her property, and she has like 38-some acres.
Okay, well, I think the lease just needs to be clarified as far as the location of on the property are very specific, building, very specific rooms, because it would be time finding a use that for a specific area for 5 years. And so if later they said, we want to move, we are bound by that lease or any damages caused by breaking that. So it's just a matter of making sure where this is going to be and what that 5 years applies to. I did look at the rest as far as there is a yearly increase, just so you know, on the rent. $750 with I think it's only a 2% or 3% increase every year,
$22 a year.
which isn't very much. It is maybe about an extra $20 a year, and that would be an increase on the base amount for those 5-year periods. So you know that it's not going to stay at the $750. There is a yearly increase. There were also some concerns about us purchasing property for the library, and if we leave that property, becomes the property of the landlord, and we can't really do that. So I believe that part has changed as well.
I think to clarify a little bit, Mrs. Schenker is going to provide them a couple of rooms in the existing building that's there, and she said within a year she would build them a new building on the location, on the property, that would be exclusively for the Furniture Library.
And that's fine, it just, the contract just needs to say that it's anticipated that there will be an additional building, that either the lease is going to apply to the new facility, or if this is limited, then this lease should only be a year. And then we work out a new one, and the building after that year. Whichever way you want to do it, you just need to make sure that you know what we're committing on, what we're committing to.
What is this? It looks like a template. What it is, like a boilerplate template, because it says quarterly tax and insurance, like we don't pay tax. There was, the old one did have some language in there that said if our commission broke or something like that, it was on us, like how can that be?
I talked to Sharon, and she said that that's just pretty much standard, but as far as she was concerned with us, that the only thing we would need to worry about is say, for instance, somebody broke a window, we would be responsible for replacing the window. We would not be responsible for any water issues, heating, air conditioning issues, because they're inside tenants, and if they don't have air conditioning, they don't work.
Well, the lease needs to say that,
Okay.
because it does say that we would be responsible for any maintenance and repairs unless it's structural. That they would take responsibility for any structural damage, but air conditioning, it is plumbing. It says that the county would be responsible. So she might say it, but the document is
Needs to be clarified in her
that would be
contract.
additional cost to the county.
Was that not removed in that last go
I thought it
around?
was.
I asked her to remove it.
I'm not seeing it, so let's not be very clear. Because there's a list of what we agreed to, and then there's some stuff that's deleted, and then there's what we can't do. And it doesn't say what they're going to do, anything about paying all the utilities, providing utilities, repairing the air conditioner. It says,
I thought it said that we would be responsible for these things.
yeah, it does.
It does.
But this says the tenant agrees to obtain and pay for all utilities used by tenants and not provided by the landlord. So, yeah, B1G, there is that one. Obtain in tenant's name, but obtain in tenant's name and pay for all electrical and internet used by the tenant. Okay, so they're going to pay for the electricity. It'll be in our name, but they're going to pay for it. So I don't know how we work that out. I think we need to just, we need to go through this again. Who cleans the regular Does county staff go over there and clean up?
With the size of the 2 rooms that we have, the staff do that. Because we're going to have to downsize to about 300 square feet. But what we're losing in the bookshelf range, we're gaining in people needing rooms because they're allowing us to use the large living room. They have 2,000 square feet upstairs that we can use for meetings. So what we're losing in the books, we're gaining in people space.
I think we have some work to do on this. We'll, Ms. Sharon, I'll get with you later. We'll go through each one more time.
Yes, I mean, I understand they took out the division of maintenance, but then it's going to pay for it. That is something like that. So, we can probably do this fine tune that.
Yeah, because it right now just says submitted writing to landlord any request for repair, replacement, and maintenance that is the obligations of the landlord, but it never, no, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't say what those things include. I mean, it's a heck of a deal, we appreciate this.
We'll fine tune that. You still haven't got the 30-day notice to vacate. Okay.
I heard the rumor is that the closing for the building will be
The 10th.
December.
December 10th. And I'll turn down this day because of the increase in the rent.
February 1st would probably be the first. I can see the order, but it's probably February 1st when they would require us, which is 30 days from the term. And it would be from month to month or it's a monthly late to notify us for December. So,
If we
so I'm anticipating February 1st.
If I have time to make the corrections because of the holiday and the staff taking vacation, may I ask permission to come back to Commissioner's Court on the 22nd?
Yes, maybe we get this all lined out. Absolutely. Yeah.
Can I interject through this?
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, if I could, if you two would just send you some of my questions regarding the utility payment. Because we have, currently we've got different accounts set up for utilities for like all of our other county buildings. So I wanted to make sure we get clarification on how we're going to do all of that, to make sure that we get it done correctly.
How have you been doing that?
We don't, well, currently we pay the rent, and that's it at the library.
One
Because
time,
it's not our building, so we're not responsible, you know what I'm saying? So we pay the $750 a month to the current.
I have seen one electric bill from Belt for that building, but I questioned it because I think the rate is GVEC is not Belt. And I've only seen that once in 10 years. So,
Yeah.
We pay our own internet. The basic agreement right now is the owner maintains the building and we maintain the content and the staff.
Correct.
What is our current lease where we are? What does it state? Because you're saying that, are you certain that in that lease there's a 30-day?
The actual lease we had with the Colosi family expired in 2017 and was never renewed. And so we've just been going month
On a month
to month, and the agreement was the 30 days on both parties.
Okay, Commissioner, table it. We'll take no action on this until we get all this. When table it, and then we reassure that it's on the second.
Take no action just in case.
That's exactly what we're going to do. All right, so we'll work.
May I ask that the staff will continue to do like a deep dive into the inventory to see what we might have to sell?
Michelle, go ahead and do that, and whatever your inventory is, since that's county property, we'll have to ask for permission to auction it off.
Do I have to wait to get the approval, or can I ask for two separate items next time to get if we get the lease all worked out, can I ask for the lease approval and the request?
Yes, two different engine items.
Before you sell stuff, I would try to get maybe some type of commitment from Mrs. Shaner on a time frame when she's going to build this new building, and what size she's talking about building.
They're ready for us to move in tomorrow, she said.
I'm sorry?
She's ready for us to move in tomorrow.
Like, when I'm talking about the new building, there's a commitment on when she's talking about building this new building, and what size building she's talking about providing. To give you a little better idea of what kind of space we're talking about.
I can do that.
Take no action, I would move the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Gold. I'll get back with you.
Okay.
The agenda item number 12, we have Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss take action on upgrading Together Small.
Okay, I guess a few years ago, not too long ago, we switched out of Adobe and went to Foxit, and I was having a lot of trouble with it, and a couple other people I was talking to were having trouble with it, but I think we've got my issues. They talked to you, they resolved your issues, Adobe, whatever you needed, they did, okay. And I have nothing that's finally got resolved last week, so we're good.
So, no action.
No action.
Agenda item number 13, Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss take action on replacing the audio system for Commissioner's Court. I see that Mr. Collins is here to give us some report. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So where do we stand on this?
Okay, so I did forward a quote that we have from San Antonio Sunny Light to Rachel Appreciates for States here on back end. And it's for $71,449. That includes replacing all the mics, the cameras, we can put 2 cameras. Also, all the systems in the back, and all the receivers, it's replacing everything.
Mr. Boomer, we budgeted for this, but it looks like it went up a little bit because of the delay.
So we budgeted it for it last year, and I spoke with Jason, that we can still, I have not closed the book to finalize closing the book for fiscal year 25. And we still have that money allocated and budgeted for. I just asked Jason, since the price did go up a little bit, I think it was 68 or 65,000, wasn't it, that we originally approved? And then I need to get the invoice turned around pretty quick. We'll be closing the books this month, so that's where we're at.
Well, his payment schedule says 50% down and 50% on completion. So there's ain't no way he's going to have this all the time.
He won't even order the equipment until after we.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The installation won't be complete by the end.
That's correct. Now, we have used San Antonio lighting before, and so the question that will be before you, the court, is if we're going to use the money that was budgeted last year, then we have to pay it in full up front.
I'm not doing that. The job's is not complete and ready to be paid for until we're ready to fix it.
And that's fine. I'm just letting you know what your options are, because that money was allocated last fiscal year and not budgeted for this fiscal year, because we thought it was going to be done.
And how much was budgeted?
It wasn't, yeah, it was whatever you approved. It was
like
60 something else.
We had approved anything. Well, I don't know what we approved.
No, you did
Well,
approve.
it's approved in the budget.
No. It was approved in court using the money that we had budgeted in building, repairs and upgrades. you guys approved whatever the amount was, 60-something thousand, and approved using the money that was budgeted in building upgrades for fiscal year 25.
Well, I mean, we can't pay for it all by the end of the year anyway, so, that seems to be a weak point. So we'll have to pay for it just same as what we just talked about on the other item, and that is we'll have to take it out of the non-departmental. I guess we need to, we don't do like, we just authorize it to spend out of that account.
Well, I have to verify how much is, because we didn't budget that whole amount in the new budget, so I don't know that we may have 70,000, and that's going to clear it out if that's what y'all want to use the money for.
Okay, so that means we're not gonna be able to take action on this until we find that out, right?
I mean, you can authorize the payment. I know, let me just take a look at something real quick.
Also,
No, I got it right. We have budgeted in reserve 158,000. So you can take action by authorizing the payment to come from the reserve for unexpected expenses in whatever, the $71,449.
Pay for the down payment of the budget next year.
No, we can't mix years on buying something like that. Yeah, that's not good. It needs to be paid for all out of the same budget.
Well, I mean, Commissioner Perdella is not incorrect in asking that, because we have to close the books if we want to pay the down payment, the 50% out of the budget that you approved for it.
It doesn't really matter because that's rolling back into the general fund.
It does matter, Commissioner, because it matters when we close the books.
it's a budgeted expense from the previous
Correct.
budget that we approved.
Correct. So, that's actually a really good idea to pay the 50% out of the previous budget, and then we only have to use 35,000 or whatever from current year's budget.
Okay, so,
So I would recommend that you vote to approve the amount of $71,449 with the 50% deposit paid out of fiscal year 25 budget and the remaining balance out of fiscal year 26 budget.
Yeah, we need to get this done. It's taking way too long. I'm tired of getting phone calls after every board meeting. When are we going to fix it? So I'll make a motion to replace the audio system with San Antonio audio, video, lighting, sound and lights for the amount of $71,449.07, with the down payment being paid out of fiscal year 25 budget, and the remainder, when it's due to be paid out of the FY 26 budget, coming out of the reserve account fund.
you second, okay, motion made by Commissioner Warren, seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 13?
Jason, I'll just need the invoice prior to the next commissioner's report,
Yes.
prior to December 22nd for the 50% here.
Judge, I guess I need to amend that motion to allow you to sign the contract.
You want to just add that on to the end?
Yeah, that's all. I'm going to amend my motion. You're good with that?
I'm good with that. Thank you, I'll get that one. Thank you. Okay. Any other discussion? There are none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 14, Commissioner Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss and take action on Commissioner's Court agenda package and delivery.
Okay, so the whole reason we were having these packages prepared for us so that we could take a moment if we needed to or whatever. So this iPad thing is not working. So that's what I want to talk about. I don't know what everybody else wants. I think we all want to see a complete have it readily available to us. I don't think any of us are attuned not to having that in a PDF or something, but we get documents brought to court and things that are added and all that. So that's part of the discussion. So what is it? That we want, and then how do we want it? Do we want to go back to paper? I mean, if I'm gonna continue to use this, the only place it's good is in my office. I need a hotspot to go with it. And I think probably some others are in the same boat. I think Commissioner Aiken has a hotspot in his office that he can take with him. I don't know if you can take it with him or your camera's with him.
It's not mobile, it's buried in the file cabinet. I wasn't able to get the agenda until this morning when I got here.
Okay, so let's have a little discussion on that. I think what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to do is save on time and money on paperwork that goes into making those binders. So I did a little research, found out y'all didn't have those prior to me coming on. I think they pull out the documents to you on the day before.
Well, no, that's not 100% true.
If it's not 100, there's a little bit of that truth. Right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that true in that. Yeah, because I'm here in my office in the court. Rachel would tell me when the book was ready, and I could go get mine, and I could take it home and study it at my leisure. The issue comes from that Commissioner Aiken and Commissioner Pergola don't have offices over here. They're not around here, and they don't work on Fridays because they do 410s, so they need their stuff available like sometime during the day, early Thursday. And that's part of the delivery method. Part of this is when it all needs to be ready. So, and I mean, like I said, I have no problems using electronic means, but it's got to be complete where we can go to one location. Because what we were able to do before was take that package, anything we got for it, we added to it, and we kept it, and we go back and we're going to refer to it if we can. This is a little more difficult. I have to be in my office right now if I want to look something up.
Are you all getting it from email? My understanding is.
Well, I mean, if I had an option, I would have probably picked the laptop, because I don't have a laptop, so I can take it with me, so I can see an email at least at some kind of size other than trying to look at it on the phone. Yeah, I mean, I wish we'd have talked about before we spent the money, because actually our laptop's cheaper than these things.
No, they're not very expensive. No, they're not very expensive. As a matter of fact, we were talking about an issue the other day about who's paying for paper, and my office pays for those binders to be made, and there's a ton of people coming in, especially from Birmingham. And my assistant is pulling her hair out at the very end because we're getting things in at the very last minute, and she's having to make hundreds of copies, and it's coming out of my budget. So let me see, I know Commissioner Martin's very good, but he would come up and pick up his binder. Did you ever pick up your binder? Pick up the day before?
Oh, yes, but here's the caveat. We were getting everything emailed to us ahead of the court where I could research it without having the physical binder in front of me. And so the reason that that's important is, and one of the things that he hasn't brought up yet, we're now getting this on a Tuesday. Okay, we're set because of the change in law. We have ample time for it to be done. And the question that arises is, if you're putting it on here and you want it to be on the agenda, shouldn't all of the supporting documentation be prepared at or before the same time that the agenda is put in place so that we have plenty of time to review it? And that is, I think, what is at issue. Our librarian will tell you that she sent out to each of us an individual email, this is what's going on, and I want you to discuss it, and I expressed to her my feelings. First thing is, get your lease to the county attorney ASAP. Second thing is, get it to the commissioners individually ASAP so that we can review it, because we've made it clear in court, we're not going to approve something that we see whenever it comes to us in court. At least I'm not going to, because I want to be able to study what's going on. It's still a transition. Like right now, all of y'all were able to take and pull up the lease contract. I read it earlier. I read it last week. I can't find it right now on the iPad.
And I'm not sure why I can't. But that is the thing about electronic versus paper. The paper's not going to disappear in front of your eyes.
I don't have any problems if y'all want to go back to the old way, but y'all going to have to share the expense of it.
And I would think that would be,
Remember, we were talking about this subject just the last couple of meetings ago. Who's going to use this? Who's going to use that? It should share about this. I'm in the same boat. Because I'm working, Rachel, we're in reams of paper all the time. And and also I need to know that everybody that submits something for the agenda, do it in a timely manner.
sure.
Don't do it on the 11th hour, and she'll be pulling her hair out.
Well, you know, I mean, one of my questions was asked the clerk's office to revise their little agenda request forms and updates, and now it's agenda items are now due by Monday, no later than due. And so if they put on there, you need to attach, you know, whatever, and that's got to be attached with it. And, certain things Rachel needs to be copied on, and that's where some of the confusion, because I don't want us to get into an issue about too many emails all to the commissioner's court and create issues from that standpoint. So it needs to go to one location, whatever that is, whether it's Rachel or the clerk's office, and they work together or whatever. I think we need to, you may have some input on that. I don't know what's the best way so we avoid any
Yeah,
issues.
sometimes that gets to be complicated, Commissioner, because the OP presented, I know that we're
Right.
trying to work with the clerk's office, it goes to the clerks, and it gets to Rachel, and
Right.
we need to sit down with the clerk's office and figure out what's best for that. Commissioner, I'll do whatever makes it easier for you. If it's, you want to go back to the old way, that's fine, these will be repurposed, something.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem, and I don't mind paying for it, because this all goes back to, you know, whatever it was a year ago. We had this, and that didn't work out. I just don't think we got the right person that did that. We didn't budget for somebody to be there to do it this year, so I guess we need to either muddle through it or think about if we want to either have a part-time person come in and do that for us, because, I mean, this part of it, you know, for what, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you know, every other week, the second and fourth week, that's 6 days worth of work for this person to get that stuff together, get it copied in a PDF format or whatever it is. Find somebody that will work a little bit, and maybe they, you know, I don't know. I mean,
We have some part-timers.
yeah, I mean, and if we do, then maybe that's the answer. And wherever they work, I mean, I got no problems supporting that, buying paper, whatever needs to come out of my office supply budget, you know, and I agree. I mean, we've assigned all of these different responsibilities to their different departments, so they expect to pay for it. And, so it's not fair probably to you to absorb all of that cost. It's especially, I don't know if you got enough budget to make it through this year or not.
I think we're good, Commissioner, we can make it through, and it's not that much, but I get with you later, we'll start doing this budgeting to figure out what we need to increase. It's a lot of paper, we go through a lot of paper.
Is it the internet access? That if you don't have access outside of service, so you're not able to download, you're not, so can all these documents downloaded instead of copying by notebooks? Can't you just download everything onto 5 iPads?
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
Yes, what we're trying to do. Jason, can I borrow you for a second? Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. These are downloaded by Rachel, and in any correction she can make on there, time to go to court, as long as they've got internet access, it recorrects itself in the notebook. Am I correct?
That is correct. And Mr. Back to your point, you can certainly use it on a laptop. You can actually get to it anywhere you have internet connection. So if you would like, you can go to your office or your home and set it up for you there. If it's the actual interface, if you're having issues, I'm not sure what the issues are, but Mr. Acton, you mentioned it disappeared on me. We could work out a different drive UI. We could go with Dropbox or Microsoft Microsoft.
Well, but see, Dropbox is just another thing to go wrong to me, in my opinion, by the time.
No, that's correct, but it's whatever you're more familiar with, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I'm gonna learn one thing at one time. I mean, I'm almost 70 years old, I can still learn. But I'm getting tired of learning this.
You don't need to change.
Jason, I didn't know that they did, not all of them have hotspots, but the hotspots are $30 a month. So can we give them hotspots so that they have that and they can just fit in their truck and it's a little box and you can just keep it with you and you can have access whenever you want internet access.
So, for a commission, like Commissioner Martin said, you'd rather have a laptop, is there a way we can trade that out and figure out some laptop?
I mean, I wanna know what the numbers are, because I'm gonna wind up paying.
Okay.
But, I mean, this will work if we can get, but the thing, can this get email? Can you set this up where we can do email?
Yes, sir. We can set that up. I was doing some tests with Commissioner Atkins over the weekend, and they were successful. They would get some text messages.
Yeah, we can get email on.
Configure these to meet whatever needs or wants required.
Yeah, if we can get email on here, that makes it where we put our email after
So
hours.
we're still going to get email to our phone, correct?
Yes, you'll still get email to your phone, but if you need to go look at a document or something instead of trying to, we can set on.
Access over all these things, does that have capacity?
I would say the only limiting factor on these particular devices would be the hard drives. They're only 125 gigs. Right. 128 gigs.
I have a
But you're not really going down with a lot. I don't see you guys doing that.
Because this is not downloading to the machine, it's just we have access to a file.
That is correct.
It's on the server, correct?
But we can give you that access to your machine.
Yeah. Yeah, because the way she did it today, where you have each number, numbered and itemized, it's looking better. And that way we can go and look, if there's something there, there's something there, if there's not, then there's nothing there. So,
I agree with the, getting a hotspot and moving forward, because these two commissioners over here are working 410s, so they don't have to go back and forth, and being away from the courthouse in their areas. This works out as long as you get email, you can make it user friendly, is I think the biggest challenge that we're going to have.
A little bit of clarity about the 14s. So I walked in, and I agree with the scheduling of my office, which is our crew works 14s. And that's not just me. I spent the majority of my time Friday in Floresville dealing with things in the county. And I'd like to make sure that we keep going back to that. This schedule saves Wilson County money. And if anybody wants to sit down and visit with me about why the men that I have in my precinct are working 410s versus why that's the best schedule and such, and I'll be happy to explain it. But I want to make that clear because Commissioner Perdola, keep hearing it. We both walked into the schedule that's there, but I do agree with the schedule. And just because the crew stopped working, I don't, and he doesn't.
And I didn't mean that.
No, but I want to make sure.
Day off, but you take care of whatever you need to do, and that's wonderful. That's great. This is like we all do after 5 o'clock on Saturday and on Sunday. So.
And absolutely, but the public may take it differently because it's being said at the court, and I want the public to know that.
But yeah, if this thing was more user friendly for the commissioners, I think, like talking about getting the email or getting whatever drive that they need over, I think that would definitely help with Commissioner Martin's on.
I think my truck is capable of having the internet connection on it or a hotspot, I think.
You'd have to pay for that service.
Right, but I mean, it would be, I work 90% of my, out of my truck.
Well, you probably want the
You
county
can
to
you need to figure it out. It's going to come out of your budget.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm paying for it anyway, so. And I have a laptop, but this is much easier for me to carry around in the truck than my laptop.
Yeah, because I mean, I agree with you. If we can get here so that when we're out driving around, that we see an email that comes through and it's got an attachment. That's what really kills us. But, you know, it's great to go, okay, I got an email from Don. Okay, I can take care of that tomorrow when I go to the office. If it's got an attachment or it needs an approval, you know, it's just like the bill approval. We get those. Sometimes we get them Wednesday, sometimes we're not till late Thursday, and they may not be able to get to them until Friday. So having that flexibility to get it where it's convenient for us is kind of important, so that we can look through it without trying to look at it all on the phone.
Yeah,
This is better than a phone, but it's not quite as good as a laptop, which is not quite as good as a big phone.
Commissioner Moore? Well, I'm going to ask Commissioner Moore for the recommendation.
Well, I think, based on what we've said so far, we'll do this, and I guess they can get with us to see if what we need. And I think generally you understand we all want email access. And that, and I mean, you need to address Commissioner Aiken's issue that he can't, that didn't pop back up.
I don't know why it just be a glitch, but I know that I looked at the contract last week, trying to find it here today. It just goes through. And also, Rachel was kind enough to, in the last time that the packet was submitted, she put in our budget. She also put in our court decorum rules to where y'all can access them on this pad as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the two big things. Just come through and talk to each one of us and see what it is we need and we want. And I think generally everybody wants the email access. I don't know what other options there are that we might use or need that might be on it. Because we're not using it like you would a desktop or a laptop. We're not trying to store stuff. We just need access. Really, just need
So
access.
email and mobile connectivity.
Mobile systems.
I can say this, the attachments on my phone in dealing with the court minutes, they will not take and completely come up whenever I went to the iPad there and what was able to review, which will be a later topic.
Well, no, I think we just instruct him to proceed as we discussed.
Well, but you have an action item.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The action item is for him to proceed as we just finished our discussion. He's to contact us each individually and see what it is that we need. And
Motion?
I will make, yes, that suit everybody's needs? Okay, and I'll make a motion and direct the IT director, Mr. Quasi, to get with each commissioner and judge to determine their needs for the court agenda package, iPad use, and complete that as necessary with the respective costs of the budget of each commissioner and deputy officer. That was long-winded, but I think we covered it all.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Schmidt. Do you have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 14?
Before we leave that motion, so y'all can update the request sheet. We don't need to ask you to do that. Make sure that if you need a motion.
Agenda items, budget, regular.
No, sir, I'm good.
All right, we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 14? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it. The motion passes. Agenda item number 15, Minister Precinct 1, Gary Martin, discuss take action to approve auction of Precinct 1, 2017 one-half-ton pickup truck with gov deals and deposit proceeds in the Precinct 1 account.
Okay, I got a new pickup, and so I have, that one is surplus, and so advertising for sale on gov deals, and the proceeds will be positive in the Precinct 1 reserve, I guess reserve account, place to go, but
You have a line item for revenue for assets sold, and that's where it would go to your rate.
Confirm the motion, sir.
yes.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Martin. Have a second? Seconded by Commissioner King. Is there any discussion regarding agenda item number 15? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Move to agenda item number 16. Discuss and take action appointing Travis Brewski to the South Texas Regional Water Planning. Mr. Pucci, still here?
He's been over there patiently.
Do you have a document that you brought with you that we can put in?
So you've already made the nomination, we just wanted to see if the court would be happy to ratify that nomination.
So we waived the 53,000 that you asked for.
Unfortunately, those are different groups, so I don't think I can do that. I'll just speak briefly on it. In Travis Cruz with the Lakes River Authority, Judge Jackson and the commissioners appointed me 6 years ago to the Regional Water Planning Group, who looks at basically studying water issues we have, which we do have a lot of, and I will represent Wilson County and all counties moving forward on this project again.
All right, Commissioner Thornton.
Make a motion to appoint Travis Bruschi for the South Texas Regional Water Planning Team. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keith, second by Commissioner Moore. Is there any other discussion regarding the agenda item number 16?
And this is just surface water or surface?
This is all water, so we look at water usage in all water projects. Where we don't develop them, what we do is we gather all the information so that all of the groups hopefully can make the best decisions moving forward.
That has a region.
So it's called the Region L, and it goes from Uvalde all the way through San Antonio up to Kyle, and then down to the Rio counties. It's kind of an L-shaped group, and that's the water plant that you guys are currently in.
And right now, it's a big topic.
Yes, it's been a bit of topic for a while. We've been, yes, water is an issue. Our job is to calculate population demand, hopefully look at the yields of what's available, and then we gather all the projects available, and we're basically a resource so everyone can see what's going on in the region. Our job is to gather as much information as possible. We don't make decisions on what projects happen, but our job is to gather that information so that everyone has it available for them. It's a pretty tedious, long process. It's a 6-year planning process, and yes, water supply is a great concern of ours. I've been here at the court before on our ESOP project that we're working on because we've got water issues. We're denying it.
Question, do y'all put out a monthly report?
So it's a 6-year project, so we just completed our study, and we did that in September. It's on, now it rolls into the state water plan. We meet quarterly up in San Antonio at the San Antonio Water System building where we meet, but our website is all new information for that. I can share that with the court. I can get that to the judge so he can share with everybody. It's massive. The program our plan we just built, I believe it was like about 5,000 pages. It details every county, every water supply, population, all of them really gets into it. Again, we don't make the decisions. We gather all the information. Hopefully decision makers make the best decisions.
Any other discussion on agenda item number 16? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you all very much.
Agenda item number 17. Brent Trevino, our county auditor, discussion only, presentation by Lindsay Thorne with updates on emergency courthouse repairs. Thorne, are you in?
Sorry, great, well, back.
Check that for where I am.
Well, Commissioner Judge,
Mr. Thorne, you go to support.
are you,
Always like hearing your good South Texas accent.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, I'm pretty sure I'll be a good year, so actually get you 6 years more than back in ways. More than that today.
I'm sure they make fun of you when you go back here.
I think I go back home and say, they say, oh, you're really South American. I said, yes. They say exactly the same thing all the time.
Okay, so you make this.
Great place. Okay, so I just want this little update. I've been talking with the Exercise Commission, working on the budget, and the average. They've been a little bit busy, I think, for the last couple of months. So trying to get some information back from them has been a little bit difficult. But we touch base. They're quite exhaustive, even for emergency emergency management funding, quite exhaustive plan package. And where we are currently is we don't have dates on the budget yet. We haven't got everything yet. So it's sort of a bit of a can't fall ball sort of thing. But we spoke and we were trying to see if we could get something in the December meeting, but they just didn't get back to me in time to send the information. So I think it's probably going to be early spring when we look at getting the loans. I explained what's going on. Susan's very familiar with the building. We worked 13 years ago.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to give the board just a quick update. What he's referring to is, so if you remember, we did submit the application for emergency funding. At first, they had told us that we had missed the deadline for their for their July meeting. So they then sent us an email and said, hey, we will allow you to submit for our October meeting. So we got together, we filled out the application, we sent it in. Well, then they responded to us, I don't know, probably in November, I think it was, that they needed additional information, and so it wasn't going to make their December round of approval for emergency funding. So then I got back with Lindsay and said, look, this is all French to me, so I need you to work with them, and that's what you should explain to you now what the update is. So hopefully we'll be able to catch their spring meeting and request the emergency funding for it.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I explained what's going on and what let us know is the cause of the problem. I contacted a couple of volunteers, testing folks, to get their opinion, and they agree with me that basically we have 3 bathtubs on the top of each of these board trips. And just general wear and tear and leaks, sweating, and general maintenance, it's got over the years. Bathtubs are filled up, moisture's got into the back of all the corners were temperature, and it's just gradually this quick swelling of the masonry work. So what I have to do is a little 3D rendering of what we're doing. What goes on originally to the building anyway. So what we're looking at doing is hopefully we can take off the roof to keep the columns. The columns seem pretty intact, pretty solid. They have a central core and they've just been this plastic around. But we're looking at one, if you look at this 3D rendering page over, what we're advocating doing is taking off the balustrade, really doesn't do anything, just gaining anything on the aesthetically or certainly functional wise, and then creating a very shallow shed roof over the top. We built back the roof arrangement with all the protective trees were trying to get to match exactly what we had. We're doing a much lighter format with materials that are going to decay over time. So that's sort of what we're looking at planning. We'll obviously run that by the DHC as a historic mission as well. But I don't have a problem. Worst case scenario is we've got to get stone made to match what we have, which is obviously a lot more expensive, it's a lot heavier. But they would quite help determine that, and that may be part of the emergency management. So I've explained Kathy has done a great job of securing it, safe to walk in it. And as soon as we can get that information from them, we will just proceed with the drawings and details so we can present it to them. We have a long history working with THC, so they know that we're doing it for the right reason. We're not trying to have walks or anything.
When will we know about that other funding comes through? I mean, you don't keep up with that at THC.
So I spoke to Susan last week, and the last deadline was December 1, and she called me back with a sandwich.
And so, Judge, if you remember, they have out-of-cycle funding for emergency, and then they have their once-a-year in-cycle funding, which is statewide. So what we're hoping to get into is the emergency funding, because that is not competitive. That's on as needed versus in-cycle is competitive. So we're trying to, and they only do that every quarter. So if we can get into their spring quarter for emergency out-of-cycle funding, that's what we're hoping for. We've been trying to do that for the last 2 quarters. But
I'll explain, pretty important elements. These are safety issues. We have a temporary shoulder currently, but it pretty much affects the breast, the actual building we need to get fixed.
So I think we would be that it's a very positive feedback we've received.
Yeah, those temporary platforms, they're temporary, but they're not gonna last forever.
Exactly.
Well, what you're basically proposing then is to basically enclosing what would be, some might consider a balcony, so the new roof will be over the
No,
top.
I would actually take off that balustrade, and so the balustrade sits sort of on the roof itself with the temperature and the roof. Take the balustrade off, take that roof section off, with this all the masonry to cave on the inside, and then to rebuild that roof as it looks today, but without the balustrade. And so any walls that lands on top would just shed off, rather than being just collecting that estimate.
So there'll be a grate to that.
And the rates are, yes. And we'll probably end up putting on we'll either do a metal roof, or we may even do almost like a rubber roof on it as well. It's like farmland deal that we use quite a lot of TPO. Lasts a long time, it's flexible, it's pretty hard, detail-wise, so we'll look at that with them. But we need to open them on that, because if we're using their money, then they have it, we need to have them put on that.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, Wade.
No, that's the time.
Move to agenda item number 18, discuss take action on approving Wilson County Commissioners to pay overtime for the personnel who assist with the San Antonio River Authority waste collection drives. This event occurs annually in Wilson County. I don't know what those specific days are, but just to keep in compliance. And by the way, this is a very good program, and I'm glad the commissioners participate in this, and they're paying their personnel, because otherwise they would clean up all that stuff on their back roads. So we'd like to see this continue with approval moving forward.
I'm not sure that we need approval, because our agreement with Sarah is that we will provide this assistance as part of the program. I don't know, whatever you think that you want. But also, it's semi-annually, it's twice a year. And in addition, when it's out at the Expo Center, we only had 2 people there trying to direct the traffic, and it's great that ESP my volunteers to do that. I think we need a little more help there. And then also, since they collect pharmaceuticals, we have to have a deputy there. They're requiring a deputy there, so that deputy should be included in that pay as well. I don't know if we can do that. But here's the problem. This thing has evolved over many years. It used to be a grant. Now I think Sarah's saying we don't have a written agreement. I really don't think we need a written agreement that spells out exactly who's responsible for what. They get these different things, and like for whatever reason, this last weekend when it was really busy, so 2 people directing traffic really wasn't enough. Not this last weekend, the last time we did it.
No.
And then the other issue was we had so many people. Those guys wound up being there, what, till 2:30, something like that? 1:45. 1:45, too. So, because people got mad because we shut it off at 11 because it was taking people an hour to get through line. So we need to have a debrief with Sarah. And I don't know who's really responsible for coordinating this event. That's kind of been lost in the weeks over the last couple of years.
We didn't shut it off at 11. We discussed it with Sarah, and we want to go till 12. And that's what led, a lot of things are going on with that facility. And so, the new construction, like with all construction, there's going to be growing pains because the exposition center is having work done. We couldn't loop around the building, and that caused a lot of this issue. And it's important to me because I'm sponsoring it next time. Precinct 4 is going to be in the lead, and if we have the same construction, then we need to plan accordingly. And I think biannual is what we're looking for. They help us twice, or sponsor it twice a year.
Should we have a written agreement with them
You
concerning
probably
this?
should, if they're going to be having these collection drives, and there's some issues as to timing and where and what dates and what staff.
We have no control over the vendors that they bring in to help with the other part of the collection.
And
We do
that's part
charge.
of the agreement that county is not responsible and not involved in
So, and I love this program. I hope it continues for a long time because it helps the commissioners out tremendously. What happens if one of them, when they're loading something, one of our employees gets hurt? They're under
county
county. That would be on county program.
That's correct. And if today you're approving that they're paying overtime for that, which you should approve the overtime, but then it becomes a county approved event, and so they're basically on duty. So it's hard for their.
Yeah, and I want to protect them because they do a good service.
And the agreement should probably state that, if there's any kind of liability issues, and the county doesn't have insurance, but, there should be some identification of responsibility as well.
Well, because I know, and we're all trying to work together and help, but I'm concerned sometimes because, somebody comes up with, all I got is tires, all I got is a can of paint, so our guy takes it and walks over there, but I don't know if he should really he should do that or should make that guy walk over there, some of those, I know that seems petty, but, I mean, if he gets hurt or he gets exposed to something that he shouldn't have been exposed to because he was off task, we just need to know how to direct our people to do that, because some people do bring, they take pretty much their household, but they're still dangerous. They've got an eye full of fumes or a mouth full of fumes and something that they shouldn't, and they might get sick from all of that.
My other concern about that is because of the overtime, that's a Department of Labor issue, am I correct? I mean, we need to make sure we're in line with that. HR, am I correct?
You are correct, yeah. And workers' comp would apply as well.
Okay, respect them.
I do comp time for my guys. I talked to them this morning, they said they just as soon have comp time than I do for one, so.
And as a department head, you have the right to do that.
And while we're talking about it, I asked for help from the sheriff's department. We had traffic backed up both directions on Highway 97. There were some near misses where we almost had some bad accidents. And I was told that they didn't have enough deputies on duty to come and help us. So it was quite a mess. This was probably the biggest event we've ever had. They closed the gates at 12, and the gentleman from Sarah decided there were still people out on 97, and they were honking the horns and raising Cain because they'd already been sitting on the highway for over an hour. So he opened the gates and let them in. And I created, I think, 3 more lanes to get people off the highway. But
This thing's getting bigger and bigger every year, which is good. It's a success. So we probably need to get with Sarah, maybe Mr. Godless, and find out how we extend those hours or whatever. But I hate to turn people away because some of them will get mad right down the road, go to one of these precincts and throw everything out on the side of the road.
Right. Because I think we had that last time we had that event, and we did turn a couple of guys away that had appeared or had signs on the side of the truck that Joe's Tire Service was like, no, you can't leave those here. And then I believe one of them did wind up in my precinct. Yeah. But if we need an agreement, I'd like to pursue. This event won't be for another 6 months. I'd like to get that because I think, if I understand it, Cheryl and I, that once we have that agreement and it's set up and it's a county responsibility, we don't really need to do this. Because then it'll all be spelled out in there. And that's fine.
And I would strongly suggest getting with the sheriff ahead of time to let him know that we have another event like we had this time. We definitely need.
Well, I mean, that's why we need to have a debrief after these events with him and figure out what we need to be doing. It sounds like and obviously this time we could have used an off-duty deputy to come in and direct traffic, just like he had a supervisor come in, so he's
97.
right. I know that's what I'm talking about out there. But,
and then people helping us in the
right. But then the guy that was working inside the salary, so he was assigned to work, so he's covered, but he's salary.
right.
But we also have constables that can come out and help. They have the trucks, they have everything they need. So if we can't get a deputy, it'd be good. That's a constable.
Yeah, but we just need to know if we're going to ask for what we they were concerned because the line was real long going back towards Floresville, so they were letting everybody turn there. So then they go, oh, look, everybody's stacked up going this way. People were slowing down, and they were driving like idiots to begin with anyway. But we need professional traffic directors, I think, out there. Yes. Because it's certainly easier to say, hey, you know, we're done, you can go home, and try to call and get somebody at the last minute or saying, hey, we're having a big problem. And, you know, by the time they get there, then the problem's gone. So.
Well, we still have a little bit of time. I don't think it would be 6 months if they
Well,
decide to have
March or
it.
April.
If they decide to have it in March or April, like this year, it was a little bit later, and so we saw the benefit of it being a lot cooler than what it had been before. Anybody have a different site in mind that we could use?
The only other option is to go out to the collection facility, but then you have the same problem of kind of one lane in and one lane
It
out.
would be one lane in, one lane out, and it'd be very restricted out there.
I can tell you this back when they did it at the precinct yards. It was a disaster.
So no,
And if we had people like we had at this event,
there's not enough room for any of our yards to be able to tolerate that.
this so far has been the best by far spot and location. Everybody knows where it is. Easy access. Just happen to be that we've got construction going on. And some other things going on there as well.
That construction goes until July.
Yeah, we know we have at least one more thing.
Okay, one more instance.
Sean, you're still thinking we need to go ahead.
I do, probably what you do, but since you're looking at, maybe additional overtime requirements for people.
This isn't a volunteer. It's a requirement.
Well, that's, it's a requirement that they participate.
I asked my guys if they're available, so it's up to them.
Yeah, mine is good.
Okay, well, I mean, every department can handle it the way it is, but, if some departments are gonna make it volunteer to participate, and then you're gonna offer them the overtime, then yes.
That's mandatory.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, what?
Exactly. We're sponsoring the next one, and we will ask for every single employee to be there. At times past, we've had all the employees there, and it was because I gave them the option to be able to have overtime and or comp time.
Okay.
You know, we're always grateful, but last year they had it on the opening day of deer season, and that is, for South Texas, something that means a lot to a lot of different people, and they have family outings planned, so I didn't have as many people for that.
And that's okay to do that, but it's not just a county event where you're saying that you teach volunteer. You've also, I mean, you've got a county-wide public event where you're bringing in an outside agency to assist with that event, and then you're asking your employees or requiring your employees to participate and then paying them overtime. So,
We would not be able to put it on internally. There's no way. What gets accomplished with Sarah, we could not do as a county on our own.
I think everybody said it, but it's such a benefit to the county because it really does help minimize the amount of stuff, at least for people inside this county doing it. Right now, I've got one that's coming in from outside the county.
Well, again, I want to say that it is tremendous service we need to continue.
Absolutely. Judge, can I suggest if we need an agreement, let's get the agreement. When we get the agreement, then we'll know what we need to do following that. And then, I mean, this is great. If we need to do it, we can do it. But I'd rather make sure make it clear, because part of the problem today is that this wasn't memorialized in the past. So we don't all really know what the rules are, who's supposed to do what, and who's responsible for what. And, you know, so we need to figure that out.
Okay, so we just.
Yes, there is a coordinator with Sarah. I think it's her name right
no,
now.
the county.
Well, we have had a person in the county that has coordinated this in the past, but they're not doing
talking about Derek Knopfler?
No,
No.
talking about city. That
Right,
was,
so-
that was one of the emergency management duties, was to coordinate this, and it's just disappeared.
Let's, take no action on that until we get an agreement with Sarah. Agenda item number 19, discuss and take action on improvement allowing Wilson County employees to volunteer on duties with the approval of their elected official in assisting the San Antonio Food Bank drives of Wilson County. Dates are set by the San Antonio Food Bank. Again, we don't know when those come. We just had one recently. There was a lot of fear going on about some of our citizens not getting their SNAP benefits, and kind of went into a tailspin. We got together with the food bank, or they called us and said, yes, with that one. And so it's my understanding it's up to each individual elected official. They want to send their personnel while on duty to go help for a couple hours and then go back to their duty station without affecting any services to the community. I think that's part of our obligation to help out our citizens in our county, especially when it comes to feeding people who are hungry. And we feed a lot of people in this county who are local food bank, not counting the others. I think Stockdale has one, and Lavernia does. There's a lot of folks that are hurting out here right now. Southern Spring, that they're hurting, and as long as it doesn't affect any of the services, I think it's a noble thing for us to also be helpful to our community and assist citizens who are in need, especially when they're hungry. We were hitting the holiday time, so this last event, there were over 270 cars that came in. Some of them had two families per car, so we fed a lot of folks trying to assist with that. So if there's no need for us to make that approval, we can continue, because my understanding is it's up to us individual elected officials that if we want to send someone there to help out, it's up to us. We have that ability to give them that administrative time to do that. So that's, I mean, I have it down for an action, but if you think otherwise, I want to hear what y'all have to say.
I'm just concerned about the people, the departments that are not really covered by an elected official, they're covered under your umbrella. And I don't mean that against you, I just mean that there's a lot of people that fit into that category that don't report directly to elected officials. And like the library, for example, I mean, they've got to have people there that come in, so they might send one, but do they understand that they can rotate that around? I don't want to see the same people continually getting 2 or 3 or 4 hours off, and the others not getting it because it's not offered to them. And, you know, that it's fair and equal to all the employees. I don't want us to get in trouble in that respect.
No, I agree with you, Commissioner. No argument on that. Yeah, just so that the public knows, the custodians come under me. The maintenance people come under me. The collection facility comes under me. So I do have a lot of personnel.
You got more than that. You got permitting and
Permitting, that's right.
library and everybody else.
Yeah. So there is a lot of folks under my umbrella. I'll be glad to spread that out, Commissioner. You just call me and tell me which one you want to take, and you can help me out on that. That's
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we communicated real well to people what the rules are, and haven't put that encouragement out there so that the department's head that don't, I mean, they don't interact with you daily, a lot of them. I mean, some of them do, some of them they don't. So I just want those people to know and understand that if this is something you want to participate in, then you need to make your verbiage to the judge if he's in your line of report.
Okay, so having said that, we have an understanding how we're going to run this. We'll be better at doing it. We don't need to take any action on that.
Judge, I do think it's important to take action on approving the events. Events, either if they can be approved, they can be ratified if they've already taken place. They can be approved if they're coming up in the future. But where you're going to have an event that the public is invited to participate, you're going to be using any county resource at all, whether it's the building, the parking lot, staff, internet, electricity, I mean, anything that uses a county resource, it does have to be approved by the court because the court manages all the county resources. So I do suggest that there be county action approving the event that took place as well as events in the future, just so that we know that as to whether or not it is a county event or not, and what resources being used. And then each individual department head can decide how they want their employees to participate, if at all or not at all, volunteer, comp time, whatever that decision is. Of course, they have the discretion to do that. But that way, it's seen as a sanctioned county event, that resources, vehicles, the sheriff's office, security, anything can be used, and it's done with the approval of the
Yeah, that's a good point, because the San Antonio Food Bank brings maybe one or two personnel or driver, and they're depending on us as volunteers to distribute food. They don't
And
have,
it's a collection.
the same thing with inflation, yeah.
Should these things be in our personnel policy manual to cover? Would that be an easier
Well,
thing to do? I mean, we could approve a carte blanche, hey, put it in the manual, and then that the guidelines are there for everybody to read. Because you get a new employee, they don't know.
it can be, but each department has, should communicate to their employees when we have an event or this event coming up. So I don't know that it needs to be covered in the manual. If each department head is going to manage participation. And I guess the manual can say something about participation will be left to the department heads with approval or event service or something like that, just to invite employees. I don't know. I mean, volunteer opportunities. For volunteer opportunities. That they would get it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At least it gives everybody has, if they read their manual, which we know, 90% don't, but then they can come back and say, well, I didn't know. And, well, you didn't read your manual. It's in your manual. And I don't want it to be real specific in detail, but just enough to cover that, from time to time, the county may have events. If you're sponsor for, for specifics, you need to contact your department head. Yeah, because they could be different for different events.
That's fine, and I'll review with her and see if there's something we can just put in there for clarification or for just information.
Because today it's the food bank that's on the students. So what if, Floresville Food Pantry folks came and say, hey, can you help us out? We need some volunteers or something. Well, then that really needs to come to court specifically. I don't like ratifying those things because then people say, well, if I'd have known they were going to give us free time off, well, I would have wouldn't go. That's why I want to get this out in front of people ahead of time so they can make a decision on what it is they want to do, knowing what the parameters are, how many hours they're going to be allowed off, or whatever that may be.
So are you still wanting this motion approved specifically for the San Antonio Food Bank? Okay. And Commissioners, keep in mind, I suggest that it be revisited at the end of every year because things change.
Do you want to make this for events for next year then?
Yes.
Calendar year?
Yes, it's 26. Yes.
Calendar year 26 or physical year 26?
Calendar year 26.
I'll make a motion to approve Wilson County employees to volunteer while they're at work with approval of their elected official and/or department head as appropriate in assisting with San Antonio Food Bank drives in Wilson County for calendar year 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 19? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Motion passes. Move to agenda item number 20. I put this on here as well as others. Discuss and take action on approving allow Wilson County employees to attend while on duty their annual employee recognition election for 2 hours on 12/11/2025. The reason I put that on there, Commissioners, is that they do go past that 1 hour then after lunch. It's actually why I'm asking, do we need this or is it okay for them? Because that meal and the recognition period goes on 2 hours.
This is something I think that these employees deserve. And I think this is something we need to be putting on the agenda.
As long as you're all okay with the extra hour that they're there, they're not leaving.
It's for them.
It's for them.
It is for them to recognize them and thank them for the job.
Very good. I just want to get that clarified.
No, just to clarify, there's a difference between an event you're holding for the public to participate and an event you're holding or luncheons, appreciation, holiday party, summer, July 4th party. You don't need,
That would include the 4th of July picnic that we do every year, because that is a big draw.
You can, but you don't need to. It's a county administrative event. Now, who participates and how, that would be up to the department head. You can go, you can take the extra hour, you can,
Well, but that one's a little longer and it does invite spouses and children.
but it is still a county, it is an employee event. It's not a public event. So, just, there's a difference there. So, but however you want to handle that.
I think it's good that we go no action, we have an understanding what we need to do. Agenda item number 21, we have Paul Fowler or fire marshal discuss and take action on burn ban.
Everyone. During this discussion, I don't recommend an action on the burn ban. Our KPI is still lower than it was when we let it expire 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to continue to put this on every quarter. I think we should keep a close eye on the drought index and the burn season. And if we need to do a special session in the fall Commissioner's Court, we'll do that. But I'm recommending we leave it off currently. I think Walden County just reinstated theirs, but their KPI is a little bit higher than ours. We're not out of the woods yet for drought, but we are blowing up to where I feel comfortable using that burn ban hall.
Marshall, how many calls during this 2 weeks that you make a lot of? Because I'm looking at my phone, I see a couple of brush fires.
Yeah, so I was looking at this, I didn't get a chance to get all those numbers together. A majority of those illegal burns were at night, and that's why they were called in as illegal burns. I do want to remind the public to follow those burn guidelines, same as hunting guidelines. Right? Can't hunt before sunset, sunrise, same thing with burning. The majority of those were after sunset.
For the public, it is state law that fires have to be extinguished at sundown. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Friday night, I had a fire behind my house burning at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, so having said that, Commissioner brings up a good point. My neighbor behind, we did have some small brush that we needed to burn. But I got up the next morning, I still see a little bit of glow there. How do you monitor that? You don't see it at sundown, and all of a sudden you see a glow at 6 o'clock next morning.
And those were a few of those burns that we had during the day were residual logs that had kind of sparked back up once that humidity recovery left us from overnight. We got a few of those in your precinct, I believe, in the Stockdale area. They got called in for some logs, but that is on the homeowner that is doing the burn to ensure that that is completely extinguished.
That particular call, state of Texas is doing a cleanup, trying to get 120 Lorraine dealt with, and they had a pile there next to it. I don't know who started it. It was up to the ESD to figure it out, but it was either done by the contractor, which they shouldn't have, or it was done by somebody who said, I see a stack of dead trees there, wouldn't this be interesting?
What about wind speed? Is there a limit on?
Maximum 23 miles an hour, minimum 6 on wind speed.
Something.
I was saying out in the Ticaster area, out in there, I know some parts of the county has had rain. Ours is just like a giant on the road. We've had 2 inches of rain in all this time. So out there it's still dry. There are other parts of the county that have a lot of rain. That area all out in there.
The KPI is based on the county average. 6%. But we did have a lot of emergency services response when we looked at it 2 weeks ago. I have seen a dramatic decrease in the call volume regarding that. But we did get some increases in the nighttime. within parameters if they were during the day, right, but they were at night, so that's what made them.
They have trouble whenever you, so.
Yeah,
That's good.
one off there.
So your recommendation is to take no action on the current burn ban?
No.
No action.
Yeah.
Put it on the website, let them know that it's burn ban is not in effect.
Correct. Again, if I see a dramatic change in weather, drought index, I'll get you guys and we can do a special session and put that in, just so we're not having to visit every 2 weeks of it. I do watch it daily.
Okay.
I am watching the call volumes daily for each ESD and responding fire department out there. So if I do see a dramatic increase, I'll certainly will act on that.
But you don't have to call in, just you burn. Now, if there's a large burn, you'll like that, so the ESDs kind of know what's going on.
Yeah,
correct?
so we do have a job form on the emergency management website, and that is just a notification burn. We're asking for that as a courtesy. That list gets emailed to the fire chiefs or the fire districts with whatever contact they gave us. So they have a list of the burns that are going on in that area. So that way, if we do get a call, they know that there's a burn there, and they don't have to send the cavalry out there. Maybe just a scout to go check it out. But it is not a requirement, that it's one of the courtesy.
Okay. Move to agenda item number 22. Again, we have a fire marshal call a founder, discuss, take action on fireworks ban.
That I kind of wanted to put in y'all's court. I've only found one contiguous county with us that has banned sticks and pins in regards to fireworks. I don't believe Bear County has done anything yet. They would have already done it, I believe. But if we are going to ban sticks and pins, it has to be at this court date today, only because that would allow our fireworks vendors to properly order their inventory or cancel an order. Past this date, we're going to be stuck with whatever they purchase. Again, just like with the burn ban, I haven't seen a lot. You guys are more in depth in some of your areas than I go. So if you guys see otherwise, I don't see a reason to ban the sticks and pins. Again, as long as the public is practicing safety and using their best judgment and shooting as fireworks off. They are still not allowed in the city limits regardless of fireworks. So City of Vernon, Louisville, Stockville. I know Stockville has it played, so they're going to do that again this year.
I'm not aware because the ESD would be to man it as Stockville VFD used to. And
I know they manned it last year, but I haven't heard if they were going to do that again this year at the park. That's what all residents come and show fireworks there.
So what's your recommendation?
I'm good with the recommendation. Let it be.
Okay, because I'm looking through you already have it preset just in case you.
Just in case, yeah. You know, it is up to you guys, isn't it? But I don't see a reason to do that for the allow.
Commissioners, you all agree with no action for that? Court for the marshal? Good. All right. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 23, we have Ms. Christina Move for County Treasurer, discuss and take action on Wilson County's 2025-26 investment.
Good morning. What I'm presenting today is just the investment policy that we approve every year. It was given, you know, given blessing. Nothing changed from last year on it. Everything stayed the same. I reviewed it, didn't feel anything needed to be changed. On that, obviously following the rule of local government code as well as surplus from not all ready to think about yet. What I do is investment on class and technical. But if you have any questions, I can answer. Okay.
Same as that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. Item number 20.
Make a motion that we adopt the Wilson County 2025-2026 investment policy as presented by
the county treasurer. Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Aiken, second by Commissioner Cardillo. Any other discussion on agenda item number 23? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you, and I dropped off real fast.
Okay. Move to agenda item number 24, June Stewart, County Sheriff's Office progress report. And sorry, you're not going to give a report on it.
I was given that.
All right, we'll find that. Move to agenda item number 25, Genevieve Martinez, our county clerk, discuss take action on commission reports. Okay, Commissioners, I'll entertain my motion on agenda item number 25.
Make a motion to set the commissioner report.
You want to do all 3 days at the same time?
Yes.
You're stating all 3 days, correct? November 17th and November 24th.
17th.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, second by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 25? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 26, Jalen Bosworth, Human Resource Specialist, presentation at payroll and personnel change.
Good morning. Jennifer Ramirez resigned from the Permanent Development Department effective October 27th. Autumn Muir resigned from her position as dispatcher of the Sheriff's Department effective November 24th. And Melanie Hernandez resigned from her position as a black deputy for the Sheriff's Department effective November 25th.
Any questions, Ms. Walker? Thank you. Agenda item number 27, Brenda Davina, County Auditor, to discuss and take action on county bills.
You've got the report that it was emailed to you or put in your iPad, but a update was sent this morning, so I don't know if Rachel updated your iPad. But the current copy is being passed to you now. The total amount is $457,002.22. And with that, there is one asset being purchased that's greater than $20,000, and that's for Road and Bridge Precinct 2 from Alaba City Trailer Sales for a 2026 bottom dump truck for $43,735.
From
You need it here.
yeah, it was for 87 minutes.
Okay. I think the change was related to something that Commissioner King had.
What I had was $4,700 for skid steer getting tractor changed at the collection facility. Those on my bills that need to go to the collection facility.
So the dollar amount did
Dollar
change.
amount didn't change.
Didn't change over.
Correct.
So on the non-departmental, is Carol Rutledge to reimburse her for that related to the mama event, and that shouldn't really be charged to the Rick Richmond. That doesn't seem like that's an eligible item.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that is the porta potty rental for the construction site.
For what?
What happened,
It's not.
Yes.
yeah, but she rented a porta potty because we had cut off the facilities at that building.
Oh, I think what Commissioner Martin is saying is that it should
Came out of the
not be
wrong place.
charged to that department.
To that department.
Right, it should be.
So it comes out of the general fund.
Expo,
The expo.
show barn.
Got
Yeah.
it, okay, well,
I agree with that, yeah, and that was for the reason is that the pipe was broke back there, we had to supply bathrooms for that event back there, so this week will be back in operation again, so.
Well,
Once pumped,
got it, okay.
and if they're not, then we still have that.
it will be done before the show.
Yeah.
So, all these Amazon business items on the EOC, that's related to building construction? That doesn't look like, I mean, I don't know what it is, but.
I have to go pull the invoices, so basically what happens is Cindy reviews all of the invoices and lets us know whether it goes under emergency management or the operations center budget, the EOC budget for the new building. So I have to go pull and see what they were that she authorized.
Checks should only be to Broadus or RBK or supplies to operate the building. I mean, the IT equipment obviously need to set up their IT stuff. That's project related. Supplies, that's just supplies, does not constitute a building cost. And then I had a question on the Christmas lights. We only approved $8,724, and so I guess we're paying for it, so all these other groups are gonna reimburse us, because that's almost 10,000.
Yes, it's the city of Floresville, and so I spoke with her 2 weeks ago and asked, I sent her a copy of this invoice, and she's waiting on an invoice from me to provide her for their portion of it, but I didn't want to clear the invoice until we paid, until it gets paid, and then she'll send us a check for all of it.
But that's more than double, so she's getting billed for the difference, or I don't know why it's more than what half of, because we approved paying half of it, that's more than half of what we approved. 87 and 87 would be 7.
I'll go look at the invoice that may have been, there may have been some additional lighting, so I'll pull up, and I don't have the invoice with me, so I will look at that. Oh, I know what it is, Commissioner Martin. So, if y'all noticed, the Christmas tree downstairs, was, paid for by a generous donor for all of those new decorations for the tree. Thank you, Judge Whitman, for doing that. That was not county money, that was used. However, the lights for that Christmas tree were no longer working, and that's, Commissioner Martin, that's where that additional $1,000 is, because Tim Newsom, the guy that strung all of the lights in the courthouse yard and on the surrounding buildings, came in and installed lights on that tree, and we didn't have to buy those lights, and so he sent in a crew to come in so that we didn't have anybody up on the ladder bringing lights on the tree. I believe that's what that additional is for.
So that's coming down to the reserve account?
No, sir, we've got the money that is specifically from that capital fund. It's a separate fund that is money that's given to us by the state that does not come from any taxpayer dollars. Those are the reimbursement checks that we get, not reimbursement checks. Those are the checks that we get every year from capital credit from the state. And every year we've gotten between $16,000 and $17,000. Right now in the fund balance, I believe we have 48,000-ish. I'm not sure. You would have to let me know if you know, but it's somewhere around there. And so those are the funds that we allocate every year. This year, the capital credit check that we received was a little under $5,000. So it just depends on unclaimed credits that are out there, and then that determines how much the state distributes to us. So it does not hit the general fund at all.
So the bill that I had taken off precinct 2 for $4,770.60 is not showing up underneath the collection facilities. Not on the new printout. Trying to find out where that went.
Who was the vendor?
They changed the tracks on the skids.
Is it the one that you were talking to Amanda about earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Cardio. Oh, it should be whiskey 1802621 is the invoice number.
Okay, 1 second.
That's following on number page 11 on the iPad. My bills. See if it's any of y'all.
You said it's RDO?
Yes, it will be. It's power plan. OIB is what it's labeled as for the vendor.
Oh, well,
I haven't found what you sent via email.
oh, okay.
I don't think it got moved.
She said it's under the collection facility. It says power plan. Yeah, it's on page 4 of 17. Power plan, $4,770.60.
Or your glasses.
Brenda, was that the one where the guy that did the repair wasn't getting, he said he didn't get paid for the business and the shells? Was that one of them?
No.
Okay.
These guys changed the tracks. I saw the bill.
Commissioner Dolan, again, was on the item.
Make a motion to pay the bills as presented by the auditor. Yeah, I didn't have the central down on the sheet. $157,002.22. Second. And you want to just move it to the other category? With the noted change of moving the rental of the porta potty over to the extra center budget and out of the ARC.
I will review those invoices with Cindy for the Expo Center and then send a response.
With the UFC.
I mean, ESP, yes.
Have a motion, I need a second. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. Motion made by Commissioner Akins, seconded by Commissioner Purdue. We have any other discussion regarding the agenda item? Hearing none, open the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Entertained motion to adjourn. Motion made by Commissioner Dean, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Purdue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay.